Hi friends, it's so good to be back. So today we're going to be learning about the water cycle. I'm really excited for this experiment and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So to get started, we need to learn about the water cycle and what it is. So to get started, the water cycle consists of 4 parts. There's precipitation, collection, evaporation, and condensation. And because it's a cycle, it keeps going and going and going in a circle. So let's break it down a little bit. So we all know what precipitation is, I hope. Precipitation is when water falls from the sky. And it can be in several different forms. It could be in the form of rain. It could be in the form of snow and sleet in hail. It could be in any of those forms, but it is called precipitation. And next is collection. And collection is when it drops down to the earth and some of it gathers in puddles that you see on the sidewalk, or some of it forms in lakes, or some of it gets, some of it gets absorbed into the ground. And the next stage is evaporation. Evaporation is where the sun heats up and it causes the water to rise in the air and it becomes water vapor. So even though you can't physically see the water vapor around you, it's still around us everywhere. It's still in the air. So that's pretty cool. And the final step is condensation. When there's too much air or too much water in the air, then it will condense and it will form clouds. And we all know about the different forms of the clouds. We know there's different shapes and all of that stuff. So when you get too much condensation, then the whole water cycle starts over again, and then it is precipitation and the cycle continues and continues. And just to make a point that you guys know this 100%, the water cycle is ran by the sun. So when the sun heats up, causes the water to evaporate, and then the whole cycle. So the sun powers the entire water cycle. So what we're going to be doing today is making a water cycle in a bag. Hopefully the weather will be good so we can do this, and I am very excited. I think you guys will like it. Just to make a quick note about safety before we get started, there's not too many safety concerns. Just make sure that you get permission from your parents before doing this experiment, and also make sure that if your tape is not already perforated, that if you need scissors, you get help from a parent because those are sharp. And also, if just be careful when you tear the tape because it has those pointy things at the edges and you could really hurt your fingers on that. But otherwise, it's super safe, super easy, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So let's get started. Alright guys, so this is what we're going to need for our experiment, and then we're going to put it all together. So first, you need a plastic bag with a Ziploc on it. This was the only one I could find, so it's been used before, but it'll do. Next, you need some tape. If you have painter's tape or regular tape, this is double-sided tape. Again, the only thing that I could find, but whatever kind of tape you have will work, promise. Next, you're going to need about half a cup of dirt. I've been gardening lately. It is a new hobby that I'm picking up during quarantine, so I had a little bit of potting soil left over, but of course you can just use dirt out of your backyard. And finally, it says that we need a plant mister. I don't have one. You guys might, I'm not sure, but I am just using a little cup of water and a tiny spoon. It's blue, it's from a yogurt shop. And I'm just gonna sprinkle some water on there with this. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing you're gonna do, of course, is open up your bag. Make sure there's no holes in it, because if it has holes in it, then it won't do the experiment right. So we're going to take our half cup of dirt and put it into the bag. It's okay if it doesn't all go in there. Also, you could just use a spoon or whatever. Nothing really too exact here. Then we're going to take our water. You want your dirt to be moist, but not muddy, okay? So it's easier to add more, but you can't take away. So what I would suggest is adding a little bit of water at a time, and that'll just make it groovy, you know? So one, I'll probably end up using like 10 of these. This is a small spoon. 2, 3, and of course if you're using a plant mister, you'd probably do 2 spritz and you'd be done. 3, make sure you get all the dirt, a little bit wet. 4, I think I'm gonna stop it. No, I'll keep going. 6, and this is also all up to you. 7, if you feel like your dirt is getting really muddy, definitely don't add as much water. But if you're like me and you think your dirt is a little bit drier, then by all means add as much dirt as you want. Next thing that we're going to do, close your Ziploc bag. All the air does not have to be out of it. It's okay. If there's still some air left in it, that's what we want. So the next thing that you're going to do is tape your bag to your window. Try to find the brightest window in your house and tape it there, because then the experiment will work better. Otherwise, if you're like me, none of my windows really get direct sunlight. We have a wraparound porch, so they're not in direct sunlight. Also, it's very cloudy today, which does not help. So I am going to tape, because it's double-sided tape. I'm going to put the tape down on the window and then put my bag of dirt up. And yeah, that's a party, guys. Cool. So let's do that. And it doesn't matter how big it is. I'm using about this size, which is probably about 6 inches. Just whatever size paper bag you have or plastic bag you have, whatever works. Okay. So here we go. Just gonna put my tape down on my window, and then put my plastic bag onto the tape. Thank goodness this is holding very well. So as you can see, my plastic bag is up, taped to the window. Hopefully the sunlight will come through in a little bit, and I'll show you guys an after of what it looks like after it's been in the sun for a little bit. Hey guys, so wasn't that super easy to make? And it will be a lot of fun to watch. So now I am just going to wrap up this video. I'll tell you what to expect to see. Like I said, it's a little bit cloudy and thunderstorming outside, so we might not see any results until tomorrow or hopefully in a couple hours. But essentially what you're going to do after you tape your baggie to the window is you will just watch it, and it should become cloudy, and then the moisture, the water from the soil will start to evaporate up. So you'll see a fog start to form, and that's kind of like condensation in the water cycle. And then depending on where you put it, if it's super sunny right there or if it's not, you'll have to wait a couple hours. But then what will happen is the water will start to fall down the side of the bag like it's precipitating, and so that's pretty cool. And then you can just kind of consider that like rain, I guess. What you'll do after that, if you want to see it happen again, you can just open your baggie up, put more water in there, and watch the whole thing happen again. So, like I said before, the 4 steps of the water cycle are precipitation, collection, evaporation, and condensation. So in your baggie, what you'll see, this is collection. When it goes up, that's evaporation. When it forms the fog, that's condensation. And then when it looks like it's raining back down, that's precipitation. It's awesome. It's a really cool, really simple experiment. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you get to make it yourself. Feel free to leave comments at the bottom of the video and make sure that you send pictures to Miss Hardy so she can see. Bye guys, I hope you have a great week.